What I love about 5 is that the teenage girls feel like real teenagers. They don't feel like actresses sort of playing teenagers, but there's just sort of that infectious energy, and that's something I've always loved about 5 is the fact that you guys feel like you really are friends and you're crazy and it's just Halloween and it's just, not a care in the world. And I've always, sometimes you sort of see these movies and you can kind of feel like they're playing a part, but you guys just really felt like real teenagers on that film.
It was, I was in LA at the time, and I'm an Arkansas girl. And I was in LA, and of course I saw the original Halloween when I was 10. And I went into to audition. I fell in love with Samantha as soon as I had the sides and everything, and they put me on tape, and I wanted the role so bad. I did. This was like because my mom, may she rest in peace, introduced me to horror. Yeah, so, but we're okay. We're normal.
I think that's probably everybody's story in here. We are all
we're all
okay.
normal. There's nothing wrong with any of us, I promise.
You don't know me that well, then.
Yes, I do. I know you all too well. You know me. But anyways, I went into audition, and the casting director said that they were going to overnight the tape to Dominic, who was already in Salt Lake City. I flew out the next day to go do an episode of Miami Vice, the last episode ever of the run of the show. And I got the call actually when I was in Miami that I had booked Halloween 5. So I'm like, I just want it to be done. Like Don Johnson, Michael Thomas, I'm ready to go play with Michael Myers. So it was like genuinely, I was so excited and so blessed, and it was amazing. It was, and Dawn working with this Michael Myers as well as I'm sure all of us feel about working with our, Michael Myers, it's just an amazing experience.
Wonderful. Alan, you have been part of the Halloween world since pretty much forever now. What was different when you came to start working on like 4, 5, and 6? Because it feels very separate from everything that we sort of saw in like 2 and 3. What was your initial approach? Because it feels very classic. It's the late 80s, so you have to kind of make it a little punchier for audiences. So I was curious if you could talk a little bit about your process for those films.
Sure. Well, one second.
Now we're going.
So, all right. So, as she said, I was involved with John Carpenter on Escape from New York, and interesting. So his next movie was The Thing, and he turned to me and says, "Alan, I'm going to be busy with The Thing. You're going to do Halloween." It was just that casual conversation. Oh, okay. I don't know. So I did Halloween 2 when he was busy doing The Thing. He and I did Halloween 3 together, and then when it came to Halloween 4, he was done with Halloween. He was busy doing other stuff. But I actually said to him, I said, "John, they asked me if I do some more Halloween. Are you okay with that?" Because there were some issues. No, do your thing. So I was sort of cut loose. So for Halloween 4, it was my first chance to sort of like be me more so than being John's buddy. And so I kind of really cut loose. And I think Halloween 4 of the various Halloween scores, 4 is my best one. And that was a chance to bring all the rock influence. I was a big Pink Floyd guy and King Crimson and all that prog rock stuff. So I really kind of went out into this atmosphere, as you can tell. I still have to. Mustafa said, "Make sure I have that Halloween music." So that was with the Michael character. So then I did 4, 5, and 6. So I'm really the one of the glue pieces for that trilogy of pieces. And so with the various directors, et cetera, I was the one person who was going to be consistent with the whole thing. And each one was its own unique experience. So in 4, they really let me go. They just said, "Go for it," and everyone was very happy. When Dominique came in, he wanted to go back to the original, so he said, "Make this really a piano thing." So I at that point I had a very elaborate digital synthesizer called Synclavier. So I did a lot of piano, but it wasn't just one piano; it was multi-track piano. So it was a piano with like 1,000 keys on it, just really focus on the piano. And then for 6. It was time to really rock out, so I pulled out my electric guitars and extra drum machines and really did that. So each one had its own uniqueness, but because I was a consistent thread, that's the way it came across.
One quick follow-up on 6, because I know that there's now the producer's cut and the original cut. Did you have to make any sort of changes, or was it just everything there and then they just sort of moved the music around?
No, actually, I rescored. I did it twice. So the producer's cut is one score. I'll say that there were some themes that I moved to the second one, but now they changed the cut so much, and when you scored a picture, it's a certain length and a certain hits that go with it, so you couldn't just copy and paste, you had to redo it. So actually, I put out a CD now that has both scores. It's a double CD, I have them over on my table. So you have the producer's cut score and the theatrical cut score, and you can hear the differences, and it was a lot of fun.
Kind of hard for these things because I work with swords, and as a kid, I grew up on a farm, and I used the mowing side more than I wanted to. But everything was real. The pitchfork was real. It was cut off, but when I came in, I got a real one. When I do the fight scene with her, it's a real weapon. So everything, I was like, okay, you got to do this. No, you can't do that. This is what you got to do. No, you're getting too excited. Because she wanted to get in there with that pitchfork.
Yeah, and he is that, I mean, when you're working with real weapons, you really have to trust. Because I mean, anything can, happen. And it was just Dawn put myself, I just had so much ease and so much trust, and it turns out for the better.
Well, the one scene that I did with Danielle in the laundry chute.
That is, it's still like, I hold my breath every time she's in the laundry chute.
Well, I couldn't see her. Okay, so I'm stabbing blind, and she has to trust me that I'm going to, do all, but she's in there, and she wanted to do it herself. We had a stunt double for her. She's like, no, I want to do it, right? And I'm stabbing this thing, and I'm coming in within, a few inches of her. Okay, you gotta be here, and there's no way for me to tell. It's like having a blindfold while I'm doing it. And when we're doing the car stunts, she wanted to do it. And I mean, I tried to hit her, but I couldn't.
She's fast.
Michael Myers comes down the river, and this guy saves him, and then we had a character called Dr. Death, and he was Darren Reed. He was a punk comedian in Salt Lake. He had a mohawk, and he tattoos the thorn onto Michael, which is the sign of eternal life. And he does all these little incantations over the year, and when Halloween comes, I put the mask on, and over this altar, there was a stone altar, there was a stone that would move, and it had a point on it. It was about this big. And I come up, grab him by the throat, pick him up over my head, I broke his back, threw him on the altar, and the stone, when he comes to life, stands still. And I take that and I put it through his chest. But all my kills are good. I kill like a champion. But,
Yes, he does.
your favorite kill?
What's your favorite kill?
Yeah, you want?
Oh, come
My
on.
favorite kill. My favorite kill was always involved with pretty blonde girls. Either stick with a knife or with a shotgun, whatever. They were my favorites. Always worked with the pretty girls.
And little girls, we like to kill.
When you're pretty,
What are you doing later?
When you're a pretty little girl, don't grow up on it. You don't want to.
I think
Well, we
have time-
don't hurt kittens. We don't hurt kittens.